video is going to be about inverse functions. Now, inverse functions are different than composite functions because composite functions are basically taking one function and putting it into another function. You're like composing something. When you compose something, you're putting it together, like composing a song or composing a letter. You're putting a bunch of ideas together. That's what the word compose means. So in a composite function, you were putting two functions together. Okay. In an inverse function, inverse means the opposite, like the inverse of addition is subtraction, the inverse of multiplication is division, the inverse of squaring something is taking the square root, and so on. So basically what you're going to be doing here is swapping these things around. It's a little confusing to understand, so just like this is what you're going to do. You're going to replace your f of x with y because this is just notation for function notation. So first you're going to replace. Then you're going to solve this for x. Okay, this is like solving a literal equation now. Solving a literal equation means we've got an equation that has more than one variable, and I just tell you which variable I want you to solve it for. So we are solving this for x. So that means we need to undo the order of operations like always. We need to subtract 1, we need to divide by 3, and we need to take the square root, all in that order because that's the opposite order of GERMDAS. So first subtract 1, so I end up with y minus 1 equals 3x squared. Then I divide by 3. I get y minus 1 divided by 3 equals x squared. Then I take my square root, and I get the square root of y minus 1 over 3 equals x. And then finally, I swap. I swap my x and my y. So my y underneath the radical becomes x, and my x becomes y again. But since I don't want it to be y, because we already knew what y was, we have to say y negative 1. That means inverse. Okay, so basically you can go ahead and put it up here as well. You can say y negative 1 is the same thing as f of x negative 1. So that says the inverse function of x equals the square root of x minus 1 over 3. Okay, I'll give you another one because I know this is kind of a weird concept. Like why you do replace, solve, and swap is a little more complicated. And at this point, I just want you to do it and not actually worry about why we're doing it. I know that's kind of goes against my general way of teaching, but there are certain things that are out of my control. Okay, here's my equation. Whoops, I don't want it as an equation. I want it as a function so we can follow the rules here. I want you to find this. Okay, I've given you f of x. I want you to get the inverse of f of x, which is f negative 1 of x. Okay, so we replace the f of x with y. We get y equals 4x minus 1. Then we solve. We solve for x because currently this is solved in terms of y. Now we got to solve it in terms of x. So we're going to add 1. Y plus 1 equals 4x. I'm not showing all my steps on this because you've solved a million equations by now. I'm just adding 1 over here. Then I need to divide by 4. So I get y plus 1 divided by 4 equals x. So I'm basically done now. Now I just need to swap the variables. So I make my xy and I make my yx. So I have x plus 1 over 4 equals y. But it's not really y. It's y negative 1 because we already knew what y was. So y negative 1, which is the same thing as saying f negative 1 of x equals x plus 1 over 4. There you go.